Hi, writer friends, and welcome to Right Away After Party. I'm Nick,
And I'm Kath.
and we are discussing today. Our topic is genre. Now, we're talking about changing genres completely, like not just from thriller to fantasy, but we're talking about like from adult to young adult to middle grade to picture book. So, what that entails is a lot of work. I have been writing young adult since pretty much I started writing, which way back when.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
I really honed that craft. I feel like I have a really strong pulse on the teenage voice and the teenage style and the angst and what that takes to write in that language. And then I switched it up about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, actually now, and I started writing picture books. And whoa, it was it was such a whole other world. I still feel like I'm like a newbie. I'm definitely not seasoned, but I am getting better.
Mhm.
I've written 16 now. I've written 16 picture books. About two of them are
Wow.
viable. I think no, I think about four of them are viable. But it's a whole other way of learning how to write. And now recently I'm starting to draft adult book. And that is again way different, so different. There's so much,
Mm.
and I mean, to me, it's like I'm, and then and like even think about the scale. Like picture books is 32 pages. It's you want to hone in on 500 words or less for that entire book. Like the whole arc, like you create a whole story in 500 words less. 500 words. I mean, you're like barely describing the bedroom of a teenager. And in adult books, I mean, she's like getting shoes on in 500 words. It's like, I mean, just that's incredible to me. That's where it's at. So I don't know. What do you think, Kathleen? What are you working on right now that's like a different type of story for yourself?
Well, yeah, funny you should bring this topic today because in the last couple of months, I've shifted. I think I mentioned I turned in my manuscript for book two
Yeah,
for yeah, on Thanksgiving Day, which was
congratulations.
great, and I was very grateful for that. And I started book three, and then I wasn't quite sure I was there. And there's another story pressing.
Oh,
And I thought, well, maybe I need to be paying attention to that one. And
yeah.
it's a memoir.
Okay.
And it's a memoir about a very difficult time in my life. So I've gone from this galloping adventure of a young teenage boy and his friends and in a fantastical land which doesn't exist, so I can make up anything I want to make up, into a world of a slice of life.
Mm,
A slice of life like the Venn diagram, if you remember from school, where you had to draw the little circle, and then, okay, the first circle is me, and then you draw the other circle, the second circle is my mother. And then where do these two not collide? Where do they overlap? And you're
mhm.
writing that little portion of the
Yeah.
story of where my life and her life. And there may, this is the hard part for me to understand, and me to not understand, but actually write with honesty and love and vulnerability, because I may have been in the room with my siblings when a certain thing happened. And they may come to me and say, that's not what happened. This is what happened. That's not what she did. This
Yeah.
is what she did. But a memoir is writing it about how I saw it with my set of life experiences, with my set of traumatic events,
Mhm.
most of which I may have recovered from, some of which I may not.
Yeah.
And so it's a sense of perspective, right?
I think so for sure. And then bringing
Mhm.
yourself back to that point of view, in the here and now, that's also a challenge because, it's like, you bringing back those memories and, were those memories clouded by the emotion of the moment
Without
or,
a doubt. Yeah. without a doubt. And I'm getting all tense just talking about it. Yeah, because there's so many layers and you have to be so truthful.
Mhm.
Um, and you have to go so deep without actually uh without hurting the memory, I think that's the way I have to explain it. The memory of the person you're writing about. I want those
I
last
think, I
10.
think that I think that like for especially for you for the first draft though, I think you maybe want to like not think about who's going to read it, who's going to be insulted, who's going to, maybe just
Yeah,
write it as
yeah.
authentic and as raw as you possibly can get
Hmm.
it without any kind of inhibition of like, and my siblings going to be upset with me if I say this or say that. Like, I mean, I think maybe just own the piece for yourself for now, especially for the first draft, and then maybe save all of those thoughts for the revision, possibly.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like when I know, like for me, like when I'm writing a picture book, like when it's very first draft, like when it's very, very, very first draft, I don't think about style or structure or limitation. I actually just kind of allow myself to like go through the story, and sometimes it ends up being like 1,000 words.
Uh,
But I allow the story to come out, and there's something so beautiful about that, like just allowing the real, just letting the story come out. And this could be very cathartic for you, getting going through this as well.
yeah,
So
I agree.
I would encourage you to just be a little bit more indulgent in just the first draft of it,
Yeah.
and just really just own, what those moments, those tender moments. I'm reading the Elizabeth Gilbert's
Ah,
biography.
yeah, I
Her
finished that quite recently.
Oh gosh, it's a lot. Um, and there's something so brave about writing a memoir. So, but
Yeah. And yet how deep she's going, how deep she went in all of her scenes and experiences,
yeah,
that it was, whew, yeah.
I
Anyway, my timer went off. What does
I know.
that
I was just
mean?
I was just gonna say. I think maybe we should just make this a 15 minute instead of maybe just add the other bits. I don't want to stop the conversation. It's so good.
Okay, don't stop the conversation then.
Oh, but no. Oh, you want to stop it right now? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Okay.
no, no, don't stop.
So are you finding yourself, a question for you. So are you finding yourself as you're writing this new, genre for yourself, memoir? But I mean, we kind of dabbled in a dual memoir too. And I do want to go back to that eventually, but writing a memoir, I think is so challenging because as a writer, you're so used to taking on a character and using yourself, as the springboard character. That is in itself like so challenging because you want to be as authentic as you possibly can, but being a character developer, it's like, am I developing a character or am I actually like telling the truth? It's like that's where like the question lies when writing a memoir. Am I glamorizing? And even like Elizabeth Gilbert says that in her memoir. She's like, I don't want to glamorize this person that I'm talking about, but at the same time, she's so used to glamorizing things in real life because of the character flaws that she claims to have. And I can say that I have that too. I have a people pleaser inside me. I have this innate ability to gloss over things, make things not seem as challenging or as
Hmm.
difficult as they were, because I'm a kind of like pull up your bootstraps and just get it going, and not really taking things into account of like, that was really challenge like that was a really difficult time, and like for me, it's hard for me to sit back and like look at the honesty of that. And I was, I wonder how you're dealing with that. Like, how are you dealing with that? Like, are you trying to characterize yourself, you think, or are you telling the raw truth?
I'm trying not to glamorize,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to come from the place where I was
Mm-hmm.
which was I got back to England, when I had just had a breakdown myself.
Mm.
And I was in such a strange place and
Yeah.
immediately arrived back in England to become the caretaker to my very unwell parents. My
Mm.
father, who had heart issues, my mother, who had recently been diagnosed with late onset Alzheimer's.
Mm.
And so it was a blessing and a curse.
And how old were you at that time?
And this was 10, 13 years ago.
Mm.
So your age, your
Yeah.
age.
And all the life challenges.
Actually, yeah, I was 50. I was 50 because I remember the last birthday present my father gave me from them because my mother was unable to write anymore.
Mm.
And he was in such poor health. His hand shook, and he was never the birthday present wrapper and that sort of
Mm.
thing. He wrapped it in kitchen towel, paper towel, and he
Mm.
wrote the message on the paper towel, and his
Aw.
hand was shaking. And you go to those places, and I still have that little piece of paper towel with
Aw.
his shaky handwriting on it. And it takes you to those places. And you really have to pick your words. That was our last episode, right?
Yes, yeah.
You really have to choose your words.
I was gonna wonder how you organize all that. Like, so like what vehicle are you using to move the story forward? Like, have you decided on how you're gonna organize this?
Well, in a way I have. In a way I have. It's mostly going to be little vignettes because I want people to see that you can treasure certain moments. You can't take away what's happening to your
Hmm.
parents or your loved one or whatever. So I
Yeah.
want it to be a dip in, dip out book. I want it to have certain big, big uplifting phrases
Hmm.
so that as the person, because when you're a caretaker you hardly ever have time to read. I know because that happened to me. And you just don't, because you're on call the whole time, and when you're exhausted you just want to sort of just, and you don't want to have to study a book to learn about anything. So that's sort of the way I'm looking at it. And um helping, like I say, using a lot of Al-Anon, a lot of program, because you didn't create it, right? You didn't cause it. You can't change it. So you have to accept it. And things like, you have to learn to come without expectations.
Hmm.
So how do you work that? I mean, that's a big word, and not many people have done the work you and I have on
Hmm.
expectations and how expectations can kill any sort of situation.
Yeah. I think
So,
I think for me too, because I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I have this like unacquitted like hope always. There's always this underlayer of hope in my life, and like to see your parent like that and know like there
mm,
may not be hope. Like I don't know. Like I mean, it's like how what do you do with that? Like, and that's
that's
interesting.
a really good observation. So what I'm trying to do in the book here is, instead of going let's look for hope for recovery, because there is no recovery.
Yeah.
There is no U-turn most of the time.
Hmm.
Is hope for little moments of beauty,
Hmm.
like that little gift wrapped up
Yeah.
with the paper towel,
Hmm.
like a moment where your mother reappears from behind the shutters of Alzheimer's
Hmm.
and says, "It's you.
Yeah.
It's you." And instead of mourning that when she goes back into the whole shutdown area, is to remember that moment somewhere in that mind.
Yeah.
Still there.
I just thought of,
Yeah.
because I never can get away from the idea of hope, is the hope actually is going to be with you. Like you
Yeah.
are hope. Because
Yes.
if you're the hope, then every moment you're looking for that idea of like a memory that you're going to be able to hold on to.
Exactly. And
Right.
you are the memory holder for her.
Mhm.
You're
So
the one now
you're
who's,
so you're the hope. You're the actual hope in the story.
yeah. And
Not the outcome.
because, in that Venn diagram, you have both crossed lives at different times of your lives. You
There's a
have,
divergence. Yeah.
yeah, you have other memories of her
Mhm.
that you can bring into play. For example, one time she woke up in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were somewhere else, and she was completely beside herself. And when I woke up and saw she'd thrown everything out of the cupboards, everything, all her clothes, all my clothes, and she was just all the makeup and everything. We've got to go, we've got to go. She was panic, panic, panic. And if you meet panic with panic, that's a recipe for disaster.
Mm.
But I don't say that as I'm writing.
Mhm.
I tell them what happened. I went back to my room, I grabbed my pillow and I screamed
Mhm.
into the pillow because I had only just fallen asleep because she had been so over what's the word?
Like
Overstimulated.
like
And
manic.
it had taken her forever to go to sleep.
Mm.
And when I finally fell asleep, she was just waking up. So I tell that moment, but then I come back and I use, without even thinking about it, but one of the memories I have of the years we were in amateur dramatics together. And I pull one of the names of the characters, one I
Mm.
know that she used to love playing. Go, Lady Bracknell, what are you doing here? And it was like instantaneous, Nick. She goes, oh, I've only just arrived. And next thing you know, we are playing theater at 3 o'clock in the morning, surrounded by all this debris of clothes and pots and this and that. Finally, calm her down, get her back to sleep, then put the clothes away.
Oh my gosh.
And what a unique memory to have.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's such an interesting idea of like going back and just having complete compassion for yourself in that
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
And um and then kind of like, because like I'm sure living through it the first time was really, really challenging.
It was. It
And so
totally was. But
it's
you've just hit the nail on the head there. The fact that I've done the work I've done and I can go back now and have compassion for myself
mm,
instead of saying, oh my gosh, I could have done that so much better, or I should have done this, or I should have done that, or blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
We do the best we can, right?
Oh, you were definitely probably doing the very best you could in that situation. I mean, I can't imagine like there must have been times where you would and in the middle of the night or something go in and like, use the restroom and you're like, this is my life.
This is my life. Exactly. Exactly. This is my life. And there were days when I had to put my bed across um, the doorway of her room so she wouldn't go, or if she decided to leave her room, she would, bump into my bed and then I'd be able to stop her. But there's things like that. And even that, you think about it and what does love do?
Yeah.
What does love do? Love doesn't judge.
Mm-hmm.
Love always hopes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Love protects. And
Yeah.
so,
Love
yeah.
is a great lens. It's great,
Mm,
great
yeah,
lens to look through.
that is the lens of this book as it comes together. But
Oh,
it's heartbreaking, harrowing, emotional.
yeah.
It's a whole different journey. And as a
Yeah.
writer,
Well,
that's
I applaud you taking that on because that is definitely a leap forward in like 1,000 galaxies away from what you just recently published.
so different, so different.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I did try writing this 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Could do it.
Yeah.
couldn't do it. And sometimes that happens to us as writers.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the I think the I think the project finds us when it's supposed to find us, you know.
Hmm. Yep.
And I think wishing that it would happen earlier or later or anything like that is just kind of a mute thing to do
Yeah.
because it happened when it's supposed to happen. And
I was listening to, who was I listening to the other day? DeWalt, the guy who wrote The Day the Crayons Quit.
oh yeah, such a fun book. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody asked him, how long did it take you to write the book? That seems like such a classic question people ask.
Yeah.
And he has decided now to say it actually took my whole life.
Mm.
You have to get through what you get to until you get to the point where you can do it. And
Well,
so
I
I
mean,
know,
it's a award-winning book, so
yeah,
yeah, if
yeah.
that's your life, then that's great.
And it took me the whatever, 14 years, 20 years, whatever, to finish the first book, get it published, and the second one came off in 9 months.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not published yet, but the story's done.
that's awesome.
So you think, yeah, it really does. Just like you said, it hits you, it comes to you when the time is right, and then
Exactly.
you have to
Exactly.
do it. Okay.
All right, writer friends, this has been such an amazing conversation. And Kath, I'm just like, I'm in awe of you. That's such
Oh,
a challenging thing that you're doing right now. Just like switching up genres, not just switching up genres, but having to be your own character. And that's beautiful. So
yeah. Keep my feet to the fire and
yeah.
keep reminding me that,
That's a great thing about being a writer though, is just really challenging yourself. Like that's something that our audience should take away is like, go out there and challenge yourself. It's something,
that's it.
I mean, writing YA became very, very kind of like, I'm not gonna say easy because it's never easy, but it was something I was used to and it was something I was
It
good
was your
at.
go-to.
And I wanted to challenge myself by writing the pitch
Mm,
books.
yeah.
So, get back into that frustrated spot of being a writer.
That's it. That's the way we grow. The way we grow is one little step outside our comfort zone.
Yes.
And
That
yeah.
frustration where you're just like, ah.
All
All
right, my
right, friends.
darlings. It's
Love
been
you.
lovely to chat. And
Yeah.
like, subscribe. Come on, tell your friends about us and come and
Yes.
have a laugh with us.
Exactly. All right. Love
See you
you.
soon. Bye bye.